The alarm screamed through the underground lab like a wounded animal. Dr. Amanda Clark looked up from her computer screen, her coffee mug shaking in her hands. The red lights flashed across the concrete walls, painting everything in blood-colored. "Shadows? Another one?" she asked, though she already knew the answer. Jake Morrison nodded from his workstation across the room. His fingers flew over the keyboard as numbers scrolled down his monitor. Ship tried to break through at Sector 7. Same as always. The barrier just ate it. Amanda closed her eyes. That was the 15th human ship in 3 months. 15 crews who thought they could outsmart the aliens. 15 crews who were now nothing but scattered atoms floating in space. The year was 2387, and Earth had been a prison for 47 years. Not a prison with bars and walls, but something worse. The aliens had built invisible walls around the entire solar system. No human ship could leave. No human message could get out. Earth was alone in the dark. The consortium of aligned worlds had done this. 12 different alien races working together to keep humanity locked away from the stars. They said humans were too violent, too dangerous, too unpredictable to be allowed into the galaxy. Amanda walked to the big window that looked out over the underground facility. Hundreds of people worked at computers and machines, all trying to solve the same problem. How do you fight enemies who can build walls in empty space? Dr. Clark? Lisa Martinez appeared at her shoulder. The young engineer's face was tight with worry. The energy readings are getting stronger. The barriers are pulling more power from somewhere. "Show me," Amanda said. They walked to the main display screen. Lines of data crawled across it like electronic insects. Lisa pointed to a section that glowed brighter than the rest. "See this spike? It started 3 days ago. The barriers are drawing almost twice as much energy as normal." Amanda felt cold. Fingers walk up her spine. "What do you think it means?" "I think they're getting ready for something big." Before Amanda could respond, the heavy doors at the end of the lab opened. Captain Ryan Beck walked in, his Earth Defense Force uniform crisp despite the early hour. Behind him came Commander Katie Sullivan, her arms full of data tablets. "We need to talk," Ryan said without greeting. His voice carried the weight of bad news. Amanda led them to the small conference room in the corner of the lab. The walls were covered with charts and pictures of the alien barriers. Equations covered every inch of the whiteboard. "Our satellites picked up something," Katie said, sliding a tablet across the table. "Consortium ships are moving." Amanda looked at the screen. Dots of light moved slowly across a map of the solar system. But they weren't staying at the edge like they had for 47 years. They were coming closer. "How many?" she asked. 37 so far. More arriving every day." Ryan's jaw was tight. They're not just maintaining the blockade anymore. They're positioning for something else. An invasion? Jake had followed them into the room. Maybe, or maybe they've decided. The blockade isn't enough. Maybe they want to make sure we can never be a threat. Amanda stared at the moving dots on the screen. Each one represented a ship larger than anything humans had ever built. Ships that could destroy cities with a single shot. Ships that had kept Earth trapped for nearly half a century. "What about the negotiations?" she asked. "The peace talks?" Ryan's laugh was bitter. "What peace talks? We send messages. They ignore us. We offer to talk. They pretend we don't exist. The last time we tried to send an ambassador, they turned his ship into dust before he got halfway to their fleet. So what do? We fight," Katie said simply. "Project Thunderbolt is our only hope." Amanda looked around the room at the faces of her team. Jake with his wild hair and tired eyes. Lisa with her careful engineer's mind. Ryan with his soldier's determination. Katie with her strategic thinking. Good people, all of them. Smart people, but were they smart enough? Thunderbolt isn't ready, she said. We need at least 6 more months of testing. We might not have 6 months, Ryan replied. Intelligence suggests they're building something new out there. Something big. What kind of something? Katie pulled up another screen on her tablet. We're not sure. Our long-range sensors pick up massive energy signatures. Whatever they're building, it's using more power than their entire blockade fleet. Amanda felt the weight of the world settling on her shoulders. Literally. 7 billion people depended on the work being done in this underground lab. 7 billion people who had no idea how close they might be to extinction. There has to be another way, she said. Some technology we haven't thought of. Some weapon we haven't built. With what? Jake asked. We've been cut off from the galaxy for 47 years. No new technology. No new materials. No new ideas from other civilizations. We're working with what we had in 2340. Then we better make it work, Amanda said. She stood and walked back to the window. Below them, the facility hummed with activity. The best minds on Earth working day and night to solve an impossible problem. Scientists and engineers and programmers all trying to break through barriers that bent the laws of physics. There's something else, Katie said quietly. Something we haven't told the public. Amanda turned back to the group. What? The barriers aren't just keeping us in. They're keeping something else out. What do you mean? Our deep space sensors pick up signals sometimes. Transmissions from other parts of the galaxy. Most of them are consortium communications, but some of them. She paused. Some of them are from civilizations the consortium destroyed. The room fell silent. Amanda could hear the hum of the air conditioning and the distant sound of keyboards. Clicking. How many civilizations? She asked. Hundreds. Maybe thousands. The consortium doesn't just blockade troublesome species. They eliminate them. Amanda felt the blood drain from her face. And we're next, Ryan confirmed. Unless we can find a way to break through those barriers and fight back. Amanda looked at her team, at the people who held Earth's future in their hands, at the scientists and soldiers who refused to give up even when the odds were impossible. Then we better get back to work, she said. The dirt was older than anyone could remember. Dr. Ben Foster wiped sweat from his forehead as he carefully brushed away another layer of ancient soil. The Greek sun beat down on the excavation site, making the work harder than it should be. Professor Foster, called out Maria, one of his graduate students. You need to see this. Ben set down his tools and walked over to where Maria was kneeling beside a deep hole in the ground. She was staring at something that made no sense. Where there should have been pottery or old coins, there was metal. Smooth, perfect metal that gleamed like it had been made yesterday. What is it? Ben asked, though he already knew this was unlike anything he had ever seen. I don't know. It doesn't look Greek. It doesn't look like anything from any ancient civilization I know. Ben knelt beside the hole and reached out to touch the metal surface. It was warm, even though it had been buried in cold earth for who knew how long. Strange symbols were carved into its surface, symbols that seemed to shift and change when he looked at them directly. Get Dr. Watson on the phone, he said. Tell her we need her here right away. Dr. Amy Watson arrived 3 hours later, carrying a bag full of scientific equipment. She was a physicist who specialized in energy readings and quantum mechanics. Ben had worked with her before when they found objects that didn't fit normal archaeological categories. Show me, she said, without wasting time on greetings. Ben led her to the excavation site. More of the metal objects had been uncovered in the past few hours. They formed a pattern in the earth, like pieces of a puzzle waiting to be put together. Amy pulled out a device that looked like a small computer with a wand attached. She pointed it at the metal objects and watched as numbers appeared on the screen. "This is impossible," she said after a few minutes. "What?" "These objects are generating energy. Not much, but enough to register on my equipment. They're also emitting some kind of quantum field." Ben stared at the objects in the dirt. "Quantum field? What does that mean?" "It means these things are actively manipulating space and time on a very small scale. The technology to do this, ... She paused, checking her readings again. "We can barely understand it, let alone build it. So what are they?" "I have no idea. But they're definitely not from ancient Greece." Ben made a decision that would change everything. "We need to call in more help. This is bigger than archaeology now." Within 24 hours, the small excavation site had become a major operation. Dr. Steve Carter, a linguist who specialized in ancient languages, arrived with his assistant Dr. Nina Brooks. They brought computers and translation software, hoping to decode the strange symbols on the metal objects. "The symbols are unlike anything in our databases," Steve said on the second day. "They're not Greek, not Latin, not from any known ancient civilization. But they are language," Nina added. "There's definitely a pattern here, a structure. Like they're trying to tell us something." Meanwhile, Amy's equipment registered more and more energy from the objects. As they uncovered more pieces, the quantum field grew stronger. Other scientists arrived from around the world, all drawn by reports of technology that shouldn't exist. On the fourth day, something changed. Nina was working late, trying to decode a particularly complex set of symbols when her computer screen flickered. For just a moment, the symbols on the screen rearranged themselves into something that looked almost like English. "Steve," she called out, "come look at this." Steve rushed over to her workstation. "What happened?" "I think the symbols just translated themselves. Look." The screen showed a message in broken English. "Warning. Danger from stars. Children of Earth... Prepare." "That's impossible," Steve said. "The translation software isn't programmed to do that." "I know, but watch." Nina typed a command into her computer. The symbols on the screen shifted again, forming new words. "Ancient enemy returns. You are not alone. We left gifts... Ben felt his heart racing. "This is real. These objects are trying to communicate with us." Over the next few days, more messages appeared. The translation became clearer as the computer learned to work with the alien symbols. The story they told was incredible and terrifying. Long ago, beings from the stars had come to Earth. They were refugees from a great war, fleeing enemies who wanted to destroy them. These beings had been advanced beyond human imagination, with technology that could manipulate matter and energy itself. The refugees had hidden on Earth for a time, living among early humans. Ancient people had known them as gods: Zeus, Apollo, Athena, and all the others. They weren't really gods, but their technology was so advanced that it seemed like magic. "The Greek myths," Ben said as they read the latest translation. "They're not myths, they're history. But why did they leave?" Amy asked. The answer came in the next message. "Our enemies found us. We had to lead them away from Earth, but we knew they would return someday. We left weapons and knowledge for our human friends." "Weapons?" Steve asked. Nina's fingers flew over her keyboard. More symbols appeared on the screen, translating into words that made everyone in the room go silent. "The enemy calls themselves the Consortium. They destroy young civilizations before they can become threats. They have found Earth again. The barriers around your world are their doing. But you are not defenseless. We hid technology in sacred places. Mount Olympus holds the greatest gift. Find Zeus Protocol. Activate when Earth faces destruction from the stars." Ben looked around the room at the faces of his team. Scientists and researchers who had come to dig up pottery and old coins. Now they were reading messages from ancient aliens about a protocol that could save Earth. "We need to contact the government," he said. "This is way beyond archaeology now." "What if they don't believe us?" Maria asked. Amy held up her energy detector, which was now showing readings that made no scientific sense. "With evidence like this, they'll have to believe us." "There's something else," Nina said, pointing to new symbols appearing on her screen. "The protocol is still active. It's been waiting for us to find it." The message that appeared next made everyone's blood run cold. "Zeus protocol awakens when Earth children are ready. When the star prison threatens to become Stargrave. Time grows short. The mountain calls." Ben stood up and walked to the window. In the distance, he could see the outline of Mount Olympus against the Greek sky. Somewhere in that mountain was technology left by beings who had been worshipped as gods. Technology that might be Earth's only hope against the alien blockade. "Pack everything," he said. "We're going to Olympus." "What about the excavation here?" Maria asked. "This was just the beginning. The real discovery is waiting for us on the mountain." As the team prepared to leave, the metal objects in the dirt began to glow with a soft blue light. The quantum field grew stronger, and for a moment, everyone in the camp could swear they heard a voice in the wind. "The children of Earth have found the first key," the voice seemed to say. "Now comes the test." The helicopter flew low over the Greek mountains, its engines fighting against the wind. Dr. Amanda Clark gripped her seat as they approached Mount Olympus. Below them, the ancient mountain looked peaceful and quiet. But she knew that somewhere in its depths lay technology that could change the fate of Earth. "Landing zone ahead," the pilot called out over the noise of the rotors. Amanda looked at the team assembled in the helicopter. Dr. Ben Foster sat across from her, clutching the metal case that held the alien artifacts. Next to him, Dr. Amy Watson checked her equipment one more time. Tony Reed, the Marine veteran who now worked as security chief for the space program, loaded his rifle with practiced ease. "You sure about this?" Tony asked Amanda. "These things could be dangerous." "Everything is dangerous now," she replied, "but doing nothing is more dangerous." The helicopter touched down in a clearing halfway up the mountain. The team grabbed their equipment and jumped out. Commander Katie Sullivan was waiting for them with a group of soldiers and scientists. "What have you found?" Amanda asked as they walked toward a cluster of tents. "Something incredible," Katie said. "The ground-penetrating radar shows a massive structure underneath the mountain. It's huge, bigger than anything we've ever built." They reached the main tent, where computers and monitors showed three-dimensional images of the mountain's interior. Amanda stared at the screen in amazement. The structure looked like a city built inside the rock. Corridors and chambers stretched for miles in every direction. "How deep does it go?" she asked. "At least 2 miles down, maybe more. Our equipment can't penetrate any deeper." Dr. Watson set up her quantum field detector near the entrance to a cave that the team had discovered. The device immediately started beeping rapidly. "The energy readings are off the charts," she said. "Whatever's down there, it's still active." Ben opened his case and pulled out one of the metal artifacts. As soon as he held it near the cave entrance, the artifact began to glow with blue light. Strange symbols appeared on its surface, shifting and changing like living things. "It's responding to something," he said. "The artifact is trying to communicate with whatever's inside the mountain." Tony stepped forward, his weapon ready. "So what do we do? Just walk in there?" "Someone has to," Amanda said. "The aliens left. This for us. They wanted us to find it." "But why me?" Tony asked. "I'm just a Marine. You're the scientists." Amy looked at her readings again. "The quantum field is responding to you specifically, Tony. It's like the technology recognizes something in you." Recognizes what? I don't know. But every time you get close to the artifacts, the energy levels spike. Amanda made a decision. We go in together. Slowly. Carefully. But we go in. The cave entrance was narrow and dark. The team had to use flashlights to see where they were going. But as they moved deeper into the mountain, the walls began to glow with the same blue light that came from the artifacts. "The mountain is alive," whispered Dr. Nina Brooks, who had joined the expedition to help. With translation, the corridor opened into a vast chamber carved from solid rock. But this wasn't ancient stonework. The walls were covered with the same smooth metal as the artifacts, and symbols glowed everywhere like stars in the darkness. "My God," Ben breathed. "It's beautiful." In the center of the chamber stood a platform, with a chair made of the same glowing metal. Tubes and wires connected it to machines that hummed with power. Above it all, a holographic display showed images of space, stars, and planets. "It's some kind of control center," Kami said. Tony walked toward the platform, drawn by something he couldn't explain. As he got closer, the humming grew louder. The symbols on the walls began to pulse in rhythm with his heartbeat. "Tony, be careful." Amanda called out, but Tony kept walking. When he reached the platform, he turned back to the group. "I can hear it," he said. "Like a voice in my head. It's calling to me." "What is it saying?" Nina asked. It's welcoming me home." Tony sat down in the chair. The moment he made contact, the entire chamber exploded with light. The team shielded their eyes as energy flowed through the walls and ceiling. When the light faded, everything had changed. The holographic display now showed clear images of Earth, surrounded by the alien barriers. But it also showed something else. Ships moving through space. Battles fought between stars. And at the center of it all, a figure that looked remarkably like the ancient Greek god Zeus. "Greetings, children of Earth," a voice said from everywhere and nowhere. "I have been waiting for you." The team looked around, trying to find the source of the voice. Finally, the holographic display shifted to show the image of a tall being in flowing robes. His face was kind but tired, like someone who had seen too much war. "You are Zeus?" Amanda asked. "I am what your people called Zeus, yes, though that is not my true name. I am the last guardian of the protocol left for your protection." "Protocol?" "The Zeus Protocol. A defense system designed to protect Earth when the consortium returned. We knew they would come back someday. We knew they would try to destroy you, as they destroyed so many others." Tony felt knowledge flowing into his mind. Information about weapons and ships and technologies beyond human understanding. It was overwhelming, but somehow he could handle it. "Why me?" he asked. "Why am I the one who can connect with this?" "Because you carry the blood of those who helped us long ago. When my people lived among yours, some of us loved human partners. Our children carried both human and our genetic markers. That bloodline has survived." Amanda stepped forward. "Can you help us break through the barriers?" "I can do more than that. I can give you the tools to fight back, but you must understand the cost. Using this technology will change humanity forever. You will no longer be the same species that first looked up at the stars." "What do you mean?" "The protocol enhances human capabilities. Mind, body, reflexes, intelligence. It makes you more than human. But it also makes you responsible for more than just Earth." A holographic display changed to show other worlds. Planets where the consortium had built the same barriers. Civilizations that had been destroyed when they tried to resist. "The consortium has done this to hundreds of worlds," Zeus continued. "They rule through fear and isolation. They destroy any species that might challenge them. But they made a mistake when they imprisoned Earth." "What mistake?" They gave you time to find us. Time to learn. Time to become something they cannot control. Tony felt the chair responding to his thoughts. Suddenly, he could see through sensors all over the mountain. He could feel the power flowing through hidden reactors. He could access databases filled with the history of 1,000 worlds. I can see it all, he said in wonder. The whole galaxy, the wars, the civilizations they destroyed. We're not the first to find this technology. No, Zeus said. But you may be the first to use it successfully. The others were too afraid, too cautious. They tried to negotiate instead of fight. And that didn't work? The consortium does not negotiate. They destroy. But humans ... Humans are different. You have something the others lacked. What? You never give up. Even when the odds are impossible. Even when everyone says you cannot win. You keep fighting. Amanda looked at Tony sitting in the alien chair, his eyes glowing with new knowledge. What happens now? Now we prepare for war, Zeus said. The consortium is planning to destroy Earth within days. Their patience has run out. But with the protocol active, you have a chance. What kind of chance? The chance to do what my people could not. The chance to stop the consortium forever. But first, you must decide. Are you willing to change? Are you willing to become something new? Amanda looked around at her team, at the soldiers and scientists who had followed her into the mountain, at Tony, who was already changing into something more than human. We're willing, she said. Whatever it takes, Zeus smiled. Then let us begin. The thunder is coming to the stars. The changes started within hours. Tony Reed sat in the Zeus protocol chair, his eyes closed as alien knowledge flowed through his mind. But he wasn't the only one changing. All around the world, people with the right genetic markers began to feel something different. In London, engineer Pete Collins was working late in his lab when suddenly he understood quantum mechanics in a way that had never made sense before. Complex equations that had puzzled him for years became as simple as basic math. In Tokyo, pilot Lisa Chun was flying a routine transport mission when her reflexes suddenly became impossibly fast. She could see the path of every other aircraft in the sky, predict their movements minutes before they happened. In New York, weapons specialist Carl Davis was testing a new energy rifle when he realized he could see the weapon's flaws without even looking at the blueprints. He knew exactly how to fix them, how to make them better. All over Earth, the Zeus protocol was awakening dormant genes in thousands of people. They were becoming something new, something more than human. But not everyone was happy about the changes. General Frank Miller stood in the Pentagon briefing room, his face red with anger. You're telling me that we're letting alien technology take over human beings? That we're voluntarily letting them change us into something else? Dr. Amanda Clark tried to stay calm. The protocol isn't taking over anyone, General. It's enhancing people who already carry the genetic markers, making them smarter, faster, more capable. More capable of what? Following alien orders? Of fighting back against the consortium? Of saving Earth? At what cost? Dr. Victoria Hayes spoke up from the back of the room. The xenobiologist had been studying the genetic changes for the past week. We don't know what these enhancements will do to human society. What happens when some people are superhuman and others are not? Amanda looked at the faces around the conference table. Politicians, military leaders, and scientists all struggling with the same question. Was saving Earth worth changing what it meant to be human? The consortium fleet is getting closer, she said. Our satellites show them positioning for attack. We have maybe days before they start shooting. We can worry about the social implications later. If there is a later, General Miller said. Back at Mount Olympus, the Zeus protocol had begun its real work. Deep inside the mountain, Machines that had been sleeping for thousands of years hummed to life. Matter conversion systems started building new materials. Energy generators that worked on principles humans barely understood began powering. Zeus spoke to Tony through the neural interface. The first ships are ready for construction, but I need more humans to help pilot them. How many more? At least 50 for the first wave. They must be willing to accept the full enhancement. Not just the mental upgrades, but the physical changes. As well, Tony opened his eyes and looked at Amanda. He needs volunteers. People willing to become something new. What kind of changes are we talking about? Enhanced reflexes, faster thinking, better coordination. But also changes to bone density, muscle fiber, neural pathways. The people who volunteer won't be completely human anymore. The room fell silent. Through the neural link, Tony could feel Zeus waiting patiently for an answer. The ancient AI had waited thousands of years. It could wait a little longer. I'll do it, Lisa-chan said. She had flown in from Tokyo that morning, drawn by something she couldn't explain. I've been feeling the changes anyway. Might as well go all the way. Count me in, Carl Davis added. My weapons work has been getting better every day. I want to see how good I can get. One by one, volunteers stepped forward. Pilots, engineers, soldiers, scientists. All of them had been feeling the genetic awakening. All of them were ready to become something more. But Dr. Hayes wasn't finished with her objections. What about consent? What about the people who don't want to change? What happens to normal humans in a world full of enhanced ones? We'll deal with that when we survive the next week, Amanda said firmly. Right now, the choice is simple. Change or die. The first human to undergo the full Zeus protocol enhancement was Pete Collins. He lay on a metal table while alien machines scanned his body and mind. The process took 6 hours. When it was over, Pete sat up and looked at his hands like he was seeing them for the first time. How do you feel? Amanda asked, different. Like I've been asleep my whole life and just woke up. Pete stood up and walked to the wall. He pressed his palm against the metal surface, and suddenly symbols appeared. Under his hand. I can interface with the mountain systems directly. I can see the construction bays, the power grid, everything. Is it painful? No. It single quotes S. Wonderful, like I was always supposed to be this way. Within days, the first Zeus Protocol starship was ready. It looked nothing like the clunky vessels humans had been building for centuries. The hull was smooth and organic, like it had been grown rather than built. Energy flowed through it, like blood through veins. Lisa-chan climbed into the pilot's seat and immediately felt the ship respond to her thoughts. She didn't need controls or instruments. The ship was an extension of her body, her mind. Systems online, she reported. All functions normal. Actually, better than normal. This thing is alive. From the ground, Amanda watched the ship lift off with impossible grace. It moved through the air like a dancing bird, then shot upward, toward space faster than any human aircraft had ever flown. First test flight successful. Lisa's voice came through the radio. I can feel the barriers around Earth. They're like walls made of twisted space, but I think I can punch through them. Don't try it yet, Amanda warned. We need more ships first. Over the next week, the Zeus Protocol facility worked around the clock. Enhanced humans operated machines that built new vessels using matter conversion technology. The ships were small by consortium standards, but they were fast and powerful. Carl Davis worked on weapon systems that could disrupt the alien barriers. His enhanced mind could see flaws in the consortium's energy patterns that normal humans would never notice. Their technology is old, he reported to Amanda. Thousands of years old. They stopped innovating because they never faced real opposition. That's their weakness. What do you mean? They rely on the same weapons, the same tactics, the same barriers they've always used. But we're something new, something they've never seen before. Tony Reed had become the link between Zeus and the human commanders. Through him, the ancient AI coordinated the defense of Earth. But even Zeus seemed surprised by how quickly humans were adapting. Your species learns faster than any I have encountered, Zeus told him. My people took centuries to master this technology. You are doing it in days. We're motivated, Tony replied. Our world is at stake. No, it is more than that. You are naturally adaptable. You take what you need and make it your own. That is why you will succeed where others failed. But time was running out. The consortium fleet had reached the edge of the solar system. Their ships were massive, each one the size of a small city. They carried weapons that could crack planets, and shields that had never been broken. Admiral Marcus Webb, now enhanced by the Zeus protocol, stood in the command center watching the enemy approach. How many ships do we have ready? 37, Amanda replied. Against their 300. Those aren't good odds. No, but we have something they don't expect. What's that? Amanda looked at the screens showing the Zeus protocol ships, preparing for launch. Each one was piloted by a human who had volunteered to become something new, something the galaxy had never seen before. We have hope, she said, and we have Zeus. The ancient AI's voice echoed through the mountain facility. The storm is coming, children of Earth. Are you ready to bring thunder to the stars? Marcus looked at his enhanced pilots, his upgraded weapons, his impossible ships. We're ready. Then let us show the consortium what happens when they cage the lightning. The first shots came without warning. Admiral Marcus Webb watched from the command center as consortium energy beams struck the outer defenses of the solar system. Automated defense platforms that humans had built over decades exploded in seconds, their metal turning to vapor under the alien weapons. They're not wasting time, Marcus said into his headset. All Zeus protocol ships, prepare for launch. Across the solar system, enhanced humans climbed into their living starships. Lisa Chun felt her ship respond to her heartbeat as she guided it out of the hidden launch bay on the moon. Carl Davis checked his weapons one last time before his fighter emerged from an asteroid base near Jupiter. This is it, Commander Clark said from the main command center. Everything we've worked for comes down to the next few hours. The consortium fleet was massive. 300 ships, each one larger than anything humans had ever built. They moved in perfect formation, their shields glowing with energy that bent light around them. They had destroyed 1,000 civilizations with fleets just like this one, but they had never faced humans before. Zeus Protocol Fleet Alpha, you are clear for engagement, Marcus ordered. 37 human ships shot out from hidden positions throughout the solar system. They were tiny compared to the alien vessels, but they moved like living things. Where? Consortium ships traveled in straight lines. The human ships danced through space, weaving patterns that confused enemy targeting systems. Lisa Chun was the first to reach the enemy. Her ship slipped past a massive consortium cruiser's shields like they weren't even there. The ancient barriers that had protected alien ships for millennia couldn't track something that moved with such unpredictable grace. I'm through there. Defenses, she reported, beginning attack run. Her ship's weapons weren't the crude energy beams that humans had used before. Zeus protocol technology fired concentrated quantum disruption fields that could tear apart matter at the atomic level. Lisa's first shot punched a hole clean through the consortium cruiser's hull. Direct hit. Carl Davis shouted over the radio. Their shields can't stop our weapons. But the consortium wasn't helpless. Return fire lit up space around the human ships. Alien energy beams, powerful enough to destroy cities, reached out for the dancing fighters. Most missed, but some found their targets. Alpha 7 is down, came a voice over the radio. Alpha 12 is hit, but still flying. Marcus watched the battle from his enhanced perspective. The Zeus protocol had given him the ability to process information faster than any normal human. He could see the flow of the fight, predict where the enemy would move next. Beta Squadron, attack their left flank. Gamma Squadron, hit them from below. Don't let them concentrate their fire. The human ships spread out across space, using tactics no other species had ever tried. Instead of fighting in neat formations, they attacked like a swarm of angry insects. Everywhere at once, impossible to predict, impossible to stop. Tony Reed sat in the Zeus protocol chamber, his mind linked directly to the ancient A. Through him, Zeus coordinated the battle with knowledge, gained from fighting the consortium's ancestors thousands of years ago. Their command ship is in the center of the formation, Zeus told him. A massive vessel with weapons that can destroy planets. If we can disable it, the rest of the fleet will lose coordination. How do we get through their defenses? The same way my people never could, with something they don't expect. Tony opened his eyes and spoke to Marcus. We need to try something crazy. How crazy? Zeus wants us to ram their command ship. That's suicide. Not if we do it right. The protocol ships can survive impacts that would destroy normal vessels. And if we hit them at just the right spot. Marcus looked at the tactical display. The consortium command ship was surrounded by dozens of smaller vessels, all protecting it with overlapping shield networks. Getting close enough to ram, it would require flying through the heaviest defenses in the galaxy. Who's crazy enough to? Try it? I am? Lisa Chun said over the radio. My ship is the fastest. If anyone can get through, it's me. Lisa, no. We need you alive. You need Earth alive more. I can do this. Before Marcus could stop her, Lisa's ship broke away from the main battle. She dove toward the heart of the consortium fleet, her enhanced reflexes guiding her through a maze of enemy fire. Alien weapons lit up space around her. Energy beams that could vaporize mountains reached out like grasping fingers. Lisa's ship twisted and rolled, following paths that seemed impossible to anyone watching. I'm hit, she reported, her voice calm despite the danger. Hull breach in Section 3, but I'm still flying. The consortium ships turned to face this new threat. Hundreds of weapons focused on the single human fighter diving toward their most important vessel. The space around Lisa's ship became a web of deadly energy but she kept flying. Almost there, she said. Zeus, are you sure this will work? Trust in the lightning, child of Earth. The ancient AI replied. Lisa's ship struck the consortium command vessel at nearly the speed of light. But instead of exploding, something incredible happened. The Zeus protocol technology in her ship created a quantum cascade that spread through the alien vessel systems like a virus. The massive command ship shuddered and went dark. Its weapons stopped firing. Its shields collapsed. One by one, systems throughout the alien fleet began to fail as the cascade spread from ship to ship. What's happening? Marcus asked. The Zeus protocol technology is disrupting their quantum networks. Amy Watson explained from her monitoring station. It's like a computer virus that attacks their fundamental technology. The consortium fleet was falling apart. Ships that had dominated the galaxy for millions of years were losing power, losing weapons, losing the ability to fight. Their crews, who had never faced real opposition, didn't know how to respond, but the human ships kept fighting. Sarah Blake piloted her fighter through the confused alien fleet, picking off disabled vessels with precise shots. Alex Turner coordinated squadron movements with enhanced tactical abilities that let him predict enemy actions before they happened. Their fleet is breaking up, he reported. Some ships are trying to retreat, others are dead in space. But the battle wasn't over yet. Deep in space, something else was stirring. Zeus had detected it through his ancient sensors, and now he shared the knowledge with Tony. There is something else, the AI said, his voice troubled. The Consortium has awakened their ultimate weapon, something they have not used for millennia. What kind of weapon? A planet killer, hidden in the ice of your system's outer edge. It has been sleeping since they first built the barriers, waiting for this moment. Tony felt cold fear run through his enhanced nervous system. How big? Large enough to crack Earth's crust. They would rather destroy your world than let you escape their control. Can we stop it? Perhaps. But it will require all of our remaining ships. And even then, ... Even then what? Even then, we will need a miracle. Marcus received the news and felt, his enhanced mind processing the impossible odds. The human fleet had already lost a third of its ships in the battle. The survivors were damaged and running low on power. And now they faced a weapon designed to destroy entire worlds. All ships, new target, he ordered. We have a planet killer. To stop. But as the human ships turned toward this new threat, something unexpected happened. The disabled Consortium vessels began to explode, one by one. Not from human weapons, but from something else. What's causing that? Sarah asked. Tony felt Zeus searching through his ancient memory banks. When the AI found the answer, his voice carried a note of hope that hadn't been there before. The cascade is doing more than disrupting their technology, Zeus said. It is. Awakening something they tried to suppress long ago. Other consciousnesses, other AI systems that they enslaved to run their ships. You mean the Consortium ships have their own Zeus protocols? Something like that. My people were not the only ones they conquered. And now, after millions of years of slavery, those enslaved minds are finally free. Across the battlefield, Consortium, ships turned their weapons on each other as ancient grudges exploded into violence. The oppressed AI systems that had been forced to serve the Consortium for eons were finally getting their revenge. The enemy fleet is tearing itself apart, Alex reported with amazement. But the planet killer was still coming, and it was bigger than anything any of them had imagined. The planet killer was a mountain of metal and death floating in the darkness beyond Neptune. It had been sleeping in the ice for 47 years, waiting for the day when the Consortium would need to destroy Earth completely. Now it was awake, and its weapons could crack the planet in half. How long do we have? Admiral Marcus Webb asked. 3 hours before it reaches firing range, Tony Reed replied from the Zeus protocol chamber. His enhanced mind was linked to sensors throughout the solar system. Its shields are stronger than anything we've seen. Our weapons barely scratch them. The remaining human ships were battered and tired. Only 23 vessels were still able to fight, and most of those were damaged. They had won the battle against the Consortium fleet, but this was something else entirely. There has to be a way, Amanda Clark said from the command center. Zeus, you fought these things before. How did your people stop them? The ancient AI was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice carried the weight of terrible memories. We didn't. Zeus said, this is why my people fled across the galaxy. This is why we came to Earth. The planet killers were unstoppable. So we're going to die? Not necessarily. Your species has something mine lacked. What? The willingness to do the impossible. Sarah Blake was piloting her damaged fighter when she felt something strange. The Zeus protocol enhancement in her mind was showing her patterns in space that she had never noticed before. Energy flows that connected every planet, every star, every piece of matter in the universe. I'm seeing something, she reported. Like lines of force running through space. They all seem to connect Jupiter. Amy Watson checked her instruments from her monitoring station on Earth. That's impossible. Jupiter is just a gas giant. No, Zeus said suddenly. Sarah is seeing the quantum infrastructure we built throughout your solar system. Jupiter was our main power source. Power source for what? For the ultimate defense. Something we built but never had the chance to use. Jupiter's core contains a quantum resonator that can amplify energy across an entire star system. Tony felt new knowledge flowing through the neural link. You built a weapon inside Jupiter? Not a weapon. Something more. A tool that can reshape the very fabric of space and time. But it requires a sacrifice. What kind of sacrifice? The resonator needs a consciousness to guide it. Someone willing to merge permanently with the quantum field. They would become one with the energy that flows through space itself. The command center fell silent. Everyone understood what Zeus was saying. Someone would have to give up their human existence to become something else entirely. Something that could stop the planet killer. I'll do it, Marcus said immediately. No, Sarah's voice came over the radio. I'm already out here. I'm closest to Jupiter. It should be me. Neither of you understands, Zeus said gently. This isn't about who is closest or who is willing. It's about who can handle the transformation. The quantum field will accept only someone who has fully embraced what they can become. Tony felt. The truth hit him like a physical blow. It's me, isn't it? I'm the one who has to do it. You are the bridge between human and my people's technology. You have been changing since the moment you sat in my chair. You are already halfway to becoming what is needed. Amanda felt tears in her eyes. There has to be another way. If there was, my people would have found it long ago. Tony stood up from the Zeus protocol chair. For weeks, he had been changing, becoming something more than human. Now he understood why. This had always been his destiny. How do I do it? Fly to Jupiter. Find the resonator in the planet's core. Merge with it. Become the weapon that can save Earth. Will I still be me? You will be more than you. You will be thunder and lightning made real. You will be the storm that sweeps across the galaxy. Tony walked to his ship. The vessel that Zeus had built for him was different from the others. Larger, more complex, designed for a journey that only he could make. As he climbed into the pilot's seat, he felt the ship respond to his thoughts like an extension of his body. Tell my family I love them, he said over the radio. Tony, wait, Amanda called out. We'll find another way. We just need more time. There is no more time, he replied. The planet killer will reach Earth in 2 hours. This is our only chance. Tony's ship shot toward Jupiter, faster than anything had ever flown. Behind him, the remaining human fleet formed a defensive line, ready to buy him whatever time they could. The planet killer turned its weapons on them, energy beams powerful, enough to destroy cities reaching across space. But the human ships had learned to dance between the raindrops. They twisted and rolled, using every trick the Zeus protocol had taught them. They couldn't damage the massive weapon, but they could. Delay it. Tony reached Jupiter and dove into the swirling clouds of the gas giant. His ship's shields protected him from the crushing pressure as he descended toward the core. Miles down, past layers of liquid hydrogen and metallic storms, he found what Zeus had hidden there so long ago. The quantum resonator was beautiful. A crystalline structure the size of a city, glowing with power that had been building for thousands of years. As Tony approached it, he felt his consciousness beginning to merge with something vast and ancient. I can see everything, he whispered into his radio. The whole galaxy. Every star, every planet, every living thing connected by lines of quantum energy. Tony, can you stop the planet killer? Marcus asked. I can do more than that. Tony's human body dissolved as his consciousness expanded into the quantum field. He became pure energy, pure thought, pure will. He could feel every consortium ship in the galaxy, every barrier they had built, every weapon they had created, and he reached out to touch them all, Across the galaxy, the barriers that imprisoned. Other civilizations simply vanished. Consortium ships lost power as their quantum networks collapsed. The empire that had ruled through fear and isolation for millions of years crumbled in minutes. The planet killer stopped moving as Tony's new consciousness flowed through its systems. Instead of destroying Earth, the massive weapon turned its power toward rebuilding. Energy that had been meant for destruction became a tool for creation. Is it over? Amanda asked from Earth. Tony's voice came from everywhere at once, no longer quite human, but still recognizably him. It's over. The consortium is finished. Their ships are powerless. Their barriers are gone. The galaxy is free. What about you? Are you okay? I'm different now. I'm part of the quantum field that connects all things. I can see civilizations that have been trapped for millennia taking their first steps toward the stars again. 5 years later, the Human Liberation Fleet had helped free dozens of worlds from the ruins of the Consortium Empire. Earth had become the center of a new galactic civilization based on cooperation and freedom. Instead of fear and control, Dr. Amanda Clark, now elderly but kept vital by Zeus protocol enhancements, stood on the observation deck of the UE's Freedom as it approached a newly liberated world. Through the windows, she could see ships from a dozen different species working together to rebuild what the consortium had destroyed. How many more worlds are out there? She asked Captain Sarah Blake, who now commanded the Liberation Fleet. Hundreds, Sarah replied. Maybe thousands. The consortium empire was vast, but it's crumbling faster every day. Amanda nodded and looked out at the stars. Somewhere in the quantum field that connected everything, Tony Reed was still watching over them, still protecting Earth and her allies, still the thunder that rolled across the galaxy. He did it, she said quietly. Tony really did it. He saved us all. From deep space came a sound like distant thunder, and for just a moment, Amanda could swear she heard Tony's voice in the quantum static. The storm is just beginning, the voice seemed to say, and Earth will lead the way to the stars. The beings who had once blocked Earth from the stars were gone. In their place rose a new civilization, built on the courage of humans who had refused to give up, guided by ancient wisdom and powered by the lightning they had summoned from the depths of space. Zeus had been right. Humanity would succeed where others had failed. Not because they were stronger or smarter, but because they never stopped believing that the impossible could become possible. And in the end, that had made all the difference.